Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to the part 2 stream of this collab. So I wanted to do something a bit different today, because you can see I've already got him. Well, I had some time this morning because I got up a bit earlier, so I thought might as well get the summons out of the way before the stream, and I've managed to learn a bunch of skills on him, so we should be able to test him out fully, properly, like we did with Ed in the part 1 stream. And since he's got human Slayer, we should be able to test him out in Arena as well, but I don't expect him to do crazy in Arena, but it's going to be quite interesting to test him out in both PvE content and also Arena, because some people might be interested in that. And let's start this off with looking at him first and the arc. Personally, so far, by looking at all of this stuff, yeah, the summons for the arc didn't go that great, but I didn't have to pity it, so I guess it's not that bad. If I look at this right now, if I compare part 2 to part 1, most people are probably going to think, which one should you go for? Well, I mean, it's up to you really, because they're both good. Like, both units are good in their own way, and both arcs are good too, because both arcs work well with the unit on that banner, so I guess in a way, it's kind of good how they done that. But, we'll talk about that later. Let's have a look at King Bradley first. I do think the artwork looks pretty cool. I don't know anything about the anime or anything, but it does look very cool. And usually in Last Cloudia, old guys usually very strong, like Agrabos and Shift Bayland. They're quite strong, and they're just old guys, and even Magia, those types of units. Some people like those, I think they're cool. So if we look at stats, we're seeing 1600 strength is pretty crazy. 1600 is quite a lot. HP is pretty good too. I think he's going to be quite a good DPS. I don't know about you, but in my opinion, he kind of reminds me of Levi from the Attack on Titans collab, because he used 2 swords and he was pretty fast, and I liked him as a unit a lot. He was my main DPS for quite a few months at least, probably. And he's outdated at this point, but kind of reminds me of that unit because he's also holding 2 swords and has some fast skills and DPS, so that's what it reminds me of. Obviously he's not going to be as fast, but you could probably put on speed skills to improve that. So I don't think he really has much for survivability. I think mostly he's about DPS and damage, and by the way, his DPS is pretty insane, especially his skill 2, I believe, is his fastest skill alone. I should get up the hit counts before we start talking about skills. We'll talk about it in a minute. Element resistances, nil to curse is kind of perfect, because that's going to help a lot, especially in arena, because inflicting curse means you can't use your skills, and having nil for curse is just something that you kind of want to have at least resistance of. He doesn't have any resistance of stun, which isn't a massive deal because there isn't that much stun in places like arena, but there are some bosses that might stun, probably not that many, but at least he's not weak to stun or anything like that, so he is weak to illness, which it's not that bad, I guess. So attribute resistances look decent too, only -20 to light. The other +10 to these 4, pretty nice to have that, really. 0 on dark is fine. He's going to be a dark DPS, would have made sense to have more dark resistant, but good stats. Stats usually don't matter too much, but still, 8000 HP and 1600 strength is definitely above average. Now let's go over skills. So, I do have the skills here. This is kind of interesting. I think his skills are quite interesting, and they kind of mix well with his traits, which we'll look at in a minute. So, since he's holding 2 swords, it makes sense going to be dual wield unit. Skill 1, instantly close the gap for a medium area dark comb attack. So, I don't think this skill is going to be incredibly fast, but it's a close the gap skill and it's an S1, so that's pretty useful because units like Adele has a close the gap skill 1 that's pretty fast. I don't think his is as good as that, definitely not, but it's probably still good. So his skill 1 is 6 hits, which with dual wield will be 12. Those are base hits. Skill 2, frontal medium area slashing breakthrough dark combo attack. A lot of words just to describe a skill. I know, it's just kind of basic, but His skill 2 is pretty amazing, because some people might think of it similar to like Stan's S2 in a way, because yeah, it's got decent hit counts. It's got 11 hits for a skill 2, and it's pretty fast, so I think his skill 2, if you stack on his skill stocks for skill 2, then his DPS for skill 2 is going to be pretty crazy for sure. So focusing on his skill 2 is going to be probably the main thing you want to do with this guy. And skill 3 is move behind an enemy for a medium area dark combo attack, which is 16 hits, so some pretty good hits. Nothing crazy for a skill 3, so it's still going to do good damage, definitely, but I think his skill 2 is the best one, and then his skill 3, and then skill 1. Skill 1 having utility of close the gap skill going to help you, so in most cases you'll probably use skill 1, and then start spamming skill 2, and then maybe if you want to reposition, then you can use another skill 1, and then start using skill 3s. I don't know, I'm just thinking about it. Now, his special isn't really anything impressive, you know, like it only does a powerful dark combo attack to one enemy, but what makes this skill good, the special good, is the fact that it's 50 hits, right, and he probably has some special damage cap increases as well, and since he has true dual wield, this means his special is going to be 100 hits, and 100 hits on a special, we haven't seen that in ages. Like Log Zeus levels of special hits, his was like 80 or something stupid, so even though it's a single target special, I feel like his special can definitely reach some good numbers, like let's say at least above 2 mil, between 2 mil and 3 mil damage to a single enemy. Sounds pretty good to me, and you could put on a sword that's gonna ignore the resistance, because there is one of those swords, so that sounds good to me. It's not going to be as good as like Alice, you know, probably not, but against a single enemy it could give you some more damage. Now we get on to the traits, which always get more interesting, but trait 1, skill special damage 50%, so 50%, definitely higher than what we saw on Ed, which was only 30%, but he was still fine. I've been enjoying Ed, he's pretty good. I've been reaching like 80k with him as a single wield unit, is pretty strong. Spamming skill 3s, I just enjoy him. King Bradley doesn't have alchemy, but he's got other unique skills, so I guess it's okay. Damage cap 15,000 for special and skill. Since he's got true dual wields, you really want to focus on damage cap as much as possible, and damage, because he's going to be doing a lot of hits for sure on his special and skills. 2 sword equips, so you have to equip 2 swords with this unit. You use 5% of max MP and give skills extra attacks. This kind of reminds me of Shift Balin's trait, where he gets more attacks against bosses, but for King Bradley it's against all enemies no matter what, but you have to have 5% of max MP. So the problem with this is if you don't have any MP, obviously it's not going to do anything, and if you're in arena you start with 0 MP, so that might be a problem. And if you put on MP ups, you don't really need to, because it's a percentage of your max MP, so you don't really need the MP ups on this unit. And I think personally all you really need is Pose of Honor. It's going to be perfect, because Pose of Honor gives 5%. So let's say you use Honey Elixir or Apple Pie, and then you kill an enemy, you get 5% MP back from Pose of Honor, then your next skill is going to use that 5% of MP and get those extra hits. So if you're killing one enemy with each skill, then in that way it'll be perfect. But that's not always going to be the case, especially against bosses, so probably going to need Goddess Kiss. That's going to be an important one, and he might become an expensive unit to build properly, and if you want to include every single skill that is good for him, then it might be quite expensive, so just think about that. Skill 1 is plus 2 hits, skill 2 is plus 4 hits, and skill 3 is plus 6 hits. So the difference here is the fact that he's dual wield, and adding hits on dual wield doubles the amount of hits. So if it's as good as it sounds, then it sounds very good. So if we go back to the skill hit counts, skill 1 was 6 hits, single wield, and now you're adding +2 hits to that, and now it's 8. And then you put on dual wield, obviously you're going to have dual wield, and now it's going to be 18 hits for a skill 1 dual wield. It's pretty nice. And then you go to skill 2, was 11 hits, +4, now it's 15 hits for a skill 2 is pretty good, makes it 30 with dual wield. And then skill 3, 16 hits, you +6 to that, 22 hits, dual wield is going to be 44. Pretty good hit counts. 22 hits on a skill 3 is quite good, to be honest. It's not the highest, like Shift Agrabah's skill 3 is 25 hits, I believe, but his skill 3 has 1 skill stock, so it makes sense in that. But some good hit counts, for sure. If he has good skill stocks and can manage to get skills quite easily, then is it going to be pretty good? I feel like it is going to be pretty good. It's just, you've got to be careful of MP a little bit. So, you may need to be careful with MP if you're using Honey Elixir or Apple Pie or stuff like that, because you need some MP afterwards. When attacking an enemy, nullify enemy evade effects. This one isn't that important really, but I would say it's probably more focused for arena, because if you're... I don't think that there's any bosses that can evade attacks. Maybe there is, I don't know. And I don't think that it would apply to other effects, because it says nullify enemy evade attacks, so it's quite specific, saying that it's evade attacks only. So if the enemy in arena, for example, has other ways to evade, like nullifying damage, or if they put on blind on you, for instance, then this isn't going to help that, because it says specifically nullifies enemy evade effects, and I believe that that's what it's going to do. So it's not really that big of a deal, really, because it's not going to be that much of a change. But if there is some unit in arena that likes to evade, then this is definitely going to help at least a little bit. But I don't see him being a amazing arena unit yet, because, you know, he's a close up DPS and he's probably going to die very easily. So in that instance, I don't know, he's probably going to be more of a manual unit, or maybe when Guild versus Guild event comes out, maybe he'll be used there, I don't know. We'll see what happens, but there's definitely some interesting skills so far. Chance to evade physical and magical attacks taken, so that's interesting. The enemies can't evade, but he can. That's pretty nice. It's quite funny though. You can't run, but I can. When unit evades, so when he evades, then it gives the next skill used damage 30% and 6,000 damage. This is good, and you may want to consider trying to put on more evade skills. Like, I know there is at least illusion, I think, that increases your chance to evade. Maybe it's a good idea to put that skill on. I don't think he has it. Haven't properly looked, but that would increase the chance of evading and would activate that damage buff more often. I wouldn't rely on it too much, and let's say you're in arena, again, you're taking a lot of hits, he's probably going to die anyway because he's quite squishy, you know, he's kind of like a glass cannon unit, one of those units that we used to get a lot of, that's not going to take a lot of hits but can do a lot of damage. So if you get hit by like one skill in arena, he's probably going to die anyway, so this isn't really going to activate most of the time, but in bosses, yes, definitely useful. Now skills, it's interesting, there's some good skills here. He does have illusion, so that's good, don't have to worry about that. He's got a new charisma. I feel like we rarely get a charisma or an anima on collab units, that's quite rare to me. All allies dark damage 15%, and all human type allies strength defense into mind plus 10%. Sounds pretty good to me. Nothing crazy though, no damage cap or anything like that, but if you're focusing on dark damage and most of your team have human type, then that's going to be a good increase in your damage, and stats might help a bit, so I like that. Could be good, and this is why he's got so much attack, because he could attack up max and fighting spirit max. HP, strength, more strength, is pretty strong. Heroism up 2, yeah, we've seen these skills a lot now. Critical up 3 is very nice. I'm glad he does have this, but he doesn't have auto critical. I would have liked to see that. That would have been perfect, but it's not on here. Advanced aim vitals, good for more crit damage. Gonna help with those crits and Proud Force, so since he's dual wield, those crits are gonna have him more often because you have more hits going off, so that's definitely something to think about. His crits might be pretty important, potentially, if you need the damage in like arena. Even in PvE content, it's for healing as well, so that's good. Illusion, chance to evade physical attacks, definitely going to help somewhat. Human Buster, like seeing this. So it's basically the same as Slayer, but it applies to your special as well. Doesn't really matter too much, because there probably isn't that many bosses that are actually human type. There's probably a few for sure, I know that, but usually when I think of a boss, at the most point it's god type enemies, but this will be good for arena. Most units in arena usually have human, Slayer, something like that. Like, I've been using Roy in arena recently because I've got his paid equipments to God Forge plus 20, and it's pretty fun, it's pretty strong, I like it. Human Slayer is pretty strong in arena in general, with special boosts going to help that too. Auto Grand Brave is a pretty nice one to see too. Grand Brave all the time, pretty amazing. I believe that's 35% strength buff all the time, so he's going to have a lot of strength. That's going to help for his damage, at least a little bit, so nice. Auto Haste will help, because he does need SET. That's one thing that he has a problem with, is SET, so you have to think about how you can get SET, otherwise how are you going to use skills, how are you going to do damage? I assume most people should have Apple Pie at this point, so you can put that on him, I would recommend that, but you also got to be careful of your MP, because you need MP for your trait 1 as well to get those hits, which is going to help for more damage. Fury 2 is even more strength when you're close to death, it's fine. Awaken 2 actually helps with survivability, so there's a little bit, but that's really the only skill. Well, Awaken 2 and some evasion effects, but he doesn't really have anything like auto protection and stuff like that, so yeah, surviving might be a bit of a problem. Dark Drive and High Drive. He doesn't have Dark Mega Drive, but it is on the limited arc. Kind of annoying how they done that, I know, but still, think about that though. Dark Attack Raise 3, nice to see that, more damage cap. Damage cap's going to be very important because he is a dual wield unit, has good hit counts. Critical Raise, more crits, that's pretty nice actually, I like that. And Dark Weak Point Breakthrough 2 is a long name, because they even shortened it, can't even fit it on anymore. When hit an absolute weakness with Dark, damage cap 1500. Yeah, pretty nice, I guess. He can't really equip Trishula because he requires 2 swords to be equipped for his maximum damage. You could put on Trishula if you want, but that's not gonna... He's gonna have less hits, you know, because of his trait 1, I believe that's the main difference. And he's also got sword mega boost and things like that. 2 swords equipped use 5% of max MP to give skills extra attack, so you do need 2 swords to be able to have that, because those hits are going to be quite a good damage increase, so think about that, that's quite important. And then more speed is going to be important too if you're not using your skill 1, but the fact that he does have a skill 1 to close the gap is very useful to have, because that adds some utility to the unit. You can just use a skill 1, get in there very fast, and then start spamming your other skills for damage. I like doing that quite a lot. Would have been nice to see some kind of long range attacks, because they're usually the most useful, especially in arena when you can just stand far away and just snipe people from a distance is amazing. Piercing, gonna be very useful. I like piercing. True dual wield, basically just the same as dual wield, but applies to your special. We don't see this on many units, but it makes sense that he has it. His special is now going to do 100 hits, which is a lot of hits. So if you're going to focus on special damage, if you add just a tiny bit of damage cap to that special, it's going to add a lot of overall damage to that special. Could have some good potential with that, maybe, because 100 hit special with some high damage cap could be pretty crazy. For sure, might help against some bosses, and you can even put on the sword that can ignore resistance, so I think could be a good special DPS, but I haven't really used those in a while because we don't really have the content that requires special DPS anymore. Like Alice, I haven't touched in ages. Sword High Boost and Mega Boost, yeah, it's going to be good for damage. More damage cap there. Ultimate Boost 3, special damage, quick trigger. That helps for SCT. A little bit, at least. Kind of useful. Kind of like that. So Combo Master 2 makes sense because he does have a lot of hits. So you're going to get that quite easily, I think. And now we get to the unique skills down here. Most of these probably quite interesting. Parry, sword equip, chance for critical damage taken minus 40%. I had a look and I believe this is on Adele, so it's not unique, but it's rare that we see it. And it's nothing crazy, because it's a chance for critical damage taken minus 40%. It's kind of specific, but some survivability can help. I would assume it doesn't stack per sword. I assume it's just that chance when you have one sword, so it doesn't matter, I guess. Then we get to a lot of words. When unit has a debuff, physical damage 20%. Okay, think about that. Debuff yourself with any debuff, and you get 20% more damage. I can think of ways of doing that, for sure. When taking attack, chance to give unit rage. We don't see that on many units either. When unit has rage, physical damage cap 5000 and boost movement speed. So if you don't know what rage does, I believe what it does is, if I remember, I think it gives you 20% strength, minus 20% defense, and you can't use your magic. I believe that's what it does. So it gives you a strength buff, basically, makes you weaker, you can't use your magic, and when that's active, you then have more damage cap and more movement speed. I don't know how often this will trigger. If it triggers quite often, then it's going to be very good for consistent damage increase, but I'm not going to assume that, because he also has evade as well. If you can somehow get evade and this to trigger at the same time, that would be some crazy damage for that one skill that you use next, but these are the two conditional damage caps that I can think of on him that are kind of make him reach an even higher potential, but he doesn't need as much. It's not as important because his base damage cap is already good enough and his hit counts are already pretty impressive that he can still do very good DPS without this damage cap. 20 seconds after incapacitation, use 20% of max MP to auto revive. Here's the thing, this is just very weird to me. Like, I can see where this is going to be useful. Let me give you a scenario, right? The one scenario that I can think of is you use him, and obviously he's going to take a lot of damage, right? And then you put a tank unit in the team as well. You're up against a really strong boss that does a lot of damage. That tank unit is not going to die ever, right? Let's just assume that the tank unit is incredibly tanky, he's not going to die, and he's got heal and everything like that. You're basically going to win because after 20 seconds, it uses 20% of max MP to auto-revive. And as long as you have that MP, then he's always going to revive after 20 seconds, and it's going to have infinite revives, which sounds good to me, right? But that's a very specific scenario when that's going to be good, and most cases doesn't really matter. And let's say you have 20% of max MP. In Arena, that would only apply as well when only at least one ally is active, so think about that. You need at least some kind of tank in the team. It could apply in Arena. Let's say you have a tank and everyone else dead. He could revive after 20 seconds, but no, because 20 seconds in Arena is not actually going to happen, is it? No, so it's not going to do anything in Arena. The only scenario is against harder bosses. It's not really anything special, but you could put on Goddess Kiss, Dark Weapons, go against a boss that does a lot of damage, and you're not going to die as long as you've got tank in the team and him. So that's the main thing. Each sword equipped, strength 25% of physical damage cap, plus 3000, there you go. You need 2 swords to get the benefit from this, because each sword means you get 25% strength per sword, and 3000 damage cap per sword, so Make sure you're equipping 2 swords. The only problem with this is there isn't many dark swords in the game. So if you want to benefit from Goddess Kiss, then it's going to be difficult to do that, because it's either you're going to equip a dark sword, if you've got one good, or a non-attribute sword. Those are really the only 2 options, but the dark sword's going to be the best option for sure. 2 swords equip when physical attacking enemy defense minus 50% deal damage. This is going to help because you've also got piercing, so piercing and this going to stack for even more piercing. It's pretty good. And it sounds like it's not a chance, so it's going to apply every single time. As long as you have 2 swords equipped, you can basically do more damage. I like it. I think, to me, it sounds like it's going to have a lot of strength, going to do a lot of damage. You could add even more damage if you want. I can see for sure some good damage potential in Arena. It's just he's gonna die very quickly. That's the problem. A very big problem, because that's quite important to staying alive. When physically attacking an enemy near death, damage 30% and low chance to insta-kill. Yeah, well, I guess that helps. Let's say you're in Arena again. I've been talking about Arena a lot, but it's because it's got Human Slayer and all these Arena-specific skills that I'm talking about it. And if you're in Arena again, trying to kill a tank unit, and they're at low health, but they keep healing or something, he's going to do more damage. It's only 30% more damage, but it's going to help to finish off enemies, basically. That's all you need to know. Looking at his overall skills, to me, it looks like he's mainly focused on a DPS. He isn't really going to be a support or anything like that, and maybe something I'll do soon is start talking about him comparing to Bayonetta, because it's kind of unfortunate what happened here. You probably understand. Bayonetta already power crept by a unit that Bayonetta hasn't been out that long, and we've already got a better dark DPS unit. I know it's crazy. True dual wield, only difference between true dual wield and dual wield is that it applies to your special. I can think of ways to increase your damage cap of your special. His special could be pretty good. I'm going to try that later. I want to try a few builds today. Most of this stream today is going to be focusing on testing him more than what we would usually do, because there's not going to be any summons here, because I've already did them earlier, because I wanted to spend more time just having fun with the unit this time, because just to see what people think, and then next week we'll just go back to normal with the summons and stuff. So far, he looks like a good unit to me. Originally, when I saw him, I wasn't too excited, because I was thinking, he's just another DPS unit. But when I kind of look into his skills and his abilities properly, he does have some very good damage potential for sure. And I can see him being one of the top DPS units at the moment. So, for that reason, definitely worth getting. And the problem is, every unit that they release right now, apart from a select few, are worth getting. Problem with that is not everyone can get every single unit, and units always get stronger. So units like Bayonetta that were top tier units at the time are already getting outdated, because they are just making even better DPS units. But you can also think about the fact that we don't really need more DPS, because we've got enough DPS units and the content is easy enough. You can do whatever you want. I personally wanted to have fun with this unit, so that's why I decided to get him in the arc. We haven't even looked at the arc yet. That's something we need to do. And his paid equipment's quite interesting. I can see some good potential in him when I started looking at the numbers. I think it's going to be great and quite fun, so I'm looking forward to trying him out later, because I haven't tried him out yet. All I've done is just teach him a bunch of skills. Haven't even used his skills, haven't even learned anything at all in his kit. So, this is the limited arc. I'm quite happy with this arc, and remember in the part 1 stream I said, I hope the part 2 arc isn't as good as the part 1 arc, because I don't want to pull for it. Well, that kind of happened again. This is another very good arc to have, similar to the part 1 arc. The stats, nothing really to mention. It's just HP and strength's pretty high. The other stats are kind of low. makes sense. Now the trait, I actually like this trait. This is actually a pretty good trait. If you look at this trait, dark skill damage 35% every single time. All the time, you're getting 35% dark damage for skills. This is very good. 35% dark skill damage no matter what. Amazing. May not be as good as other arcs, but this is definitely on the high end, especially for dark DPS units. 35% skill damage. I love it already. It's already good. And then you continue. Creature type only, gradually restore HP and MP. I would assume that it doesn't give a buff because it doesn't say it's a buff, so I would assume it stacks with the other regen buffs that you get, because I would assume it's a passive on the trait and it doesn't actually give a buff. If that's the case, then that would mean, yeah, I really got to think about this. This has some potential to be good. If the HP and MP restoration is good, then this could be useful in Arena because you don't have many ways to get MP. In a way, that could make this good as well, because you get an MP and you can stack it on other ways to get MP, and that could be good. I'm just thinking about it though. And regen, stacking on top of regen usually doesn't matter, but maybe. Yeah, I did my summons before the stream because I got up a bit earlier and I wanted to prepare for this, so we'll go over him properly. I plan to do a full showcase and everything. I'm trying him out in Arena later. I think right now I can get him to plus 12 SC. The summons went okay, weren't kind of similar to part 1 actually. For each living creature type ally, dark damage cap plus 500. This is also good. This is a just in general solid arc trait. One of the better limited arc traits that we've got, especially for dark damage. Yeah, I wasn't as lucky. I'll probably tell you how the summers went soon. I guess in a minute after I talked about this, might as well. I like this trait. It's let me have a look. 2000 damage cap for dark, but you need to have creature type allies. 35% dark skill damage. If I were to just compare it to other things that we got, like the best one that we got, each skill deals progressively more damage up to 40%, resets each wave, 3000 dark damage cap. You see, yeah, sure, Shift Gorov, who would even use for him? I don't know. I like this trait. There's one thing I was looking at. Let me just show you one more thing. This arc right here is one that I like using for dark DPS units in Arena because this is just perfect for Arena, and I feel like this is the best one for an Arena DPS unit. I still think Urizen would be better on Bradley than the limited arc that we currently have, because of the reason that even though it's only 20% dark damage, it has a chance for physical attacks to grate lower enemy defense, which is amazing for Arena, and chance for skill attacks to nullify guard. I still feel like those effects kind of make this arc better for Arena specifically. That's all I'm going to say for that. But if you're just looking for PvE content, yes, this is perfect. Very good for sure. Yeah, I feel like what they did this time is they made this arc and the part 1 arc both specific to the unit to buff them. That definitely looks like the case, which I'm usually happy with, because it feels like when you get the arc, you're not just getting a generic arc that isn't that helpful. You're getting an arc that specifically helps the unit and is going to give them even more potential, which I like it, but at the same time I don't, because it kind of forces you to get the arc. At least it does for me, because I feel like if I don't get the arc, I'm missing out on this for the unit. Now the unit is weaker if I don't have this arc. I usually think like that. Let's look at the skills, because there are some good skills here too. If I were to compare to the part 1 arc as well, they both have solid skills, not gonna lie. I would probably say part 1 has potentially a tiny bit more better skills, but they're both good. The trait on the part 2 arc is definitely the best one. Illness resist, MP up max, one of the longest names of a skill I've ever seen in my life. When using a special, give unit a physical damage buff. Put this on Ed. Put this on Ed because he uses MP for a special. You can use a special at the start of the battle and then he gets 20. That's a synergy I can think of. Okay. Well, it's not that crazy, but it's okay. Because it's not actually that good if you think about it, because 20% physical damage buff, we have... Let me just show you the equivalent to what I'm thinking of. There's a better one. There's a cat shouting at me. Is this one. Time to kick some ass. Kick some donkey. It's 3 SC, and you get the damage buff at the start of the battle, so it's technically better, and it's easier to get because just at the start, guaranteed. So yeah, it's not actually something I would use probably, but it's there. I guess if you're in a long battle, you could put it on if you want, and you're using your specials. So yeah. We do have another unique skill here. Get creature type 1 close to death, very greatly restore HP once per wave. Here's the thing. Hear me out. Arena says hello to this skill right here. Arena is a lot of good skills that they've been releasing on limited arcs for Arena. This one might be one of them. The only problem is it gives creature type, so if you have Nullify Slayer effect on the unit and you don't want to give them a creature type, then you can't really use this. Like on, if you have Jian with her page cloves, you can't really put this on because that would make her vulnerable to creature slayer. So think about that. But if you're putting this on someone like Granadus, potentially could be useful for sure, or even any support unit or Theria or something like that. Even for PvE content, it's going to be somewhat useful because it gives them a creature type, which is going to help with this arc trait. I like this. It's 7 FC, which is quite expensive, but if it's... It sounds like it's a 9,999 HP heal once per wave, and gives creature type, which is going to stack with Awaken and stuff like that, so... Sounds good to me. Blood Force, nobody really uses this, too expensive, it's rubbish. Dark Mega Drive is amazing. This is the one reason why I wanted this, because if you remember, Bradley doesn't have Dark Mega Drive. They put it on this arc instead, which is very scummy. I know it is, but this is going to help his damage and damage cap a lot. Because he's got dual wield and those extra hit counts from his trait 1, 2000 damage cap does a lot. And let me just, I'm going to do the math right now, because I want to, for fun. It adds 2000 damage cap to his special as well, so you do 2000, right, and his special's 100 hits, so that skill, Dark Mega Drive, is adding 200,000 damage to your special. Think about that. Now I know the numbers, I know how good that is. If I were to do it on a skill, it wouldn't be as insane, but it's still, you can see the damage difference. Yeah. To reach his full potential, he needs this, but if you don't care about that and we don't actually need this, then you don't need it. We don't... 2000 damage cap at the end of the day isn't needed. It's just a bonus DPS thing that you could put on if you need, but we don't actually need it. I would 100% use this, but don't be me, unless you are. That'd be weird. But don't be me and pull for this arc just because you feel like you're required to get it for the unit. You're not required, because at the end of the day, 2000 damage cap isn't going to be a massive difference, and we don't have the content that requires that amount of DPS. So yes, in time trial, but it's just not really worth that, is it? No. So, yeah, just got to think about, if you look at the usability, how useful it is. It's difficult, I know. Even I have mixed thoughts about this, but at the end of the day, I just went for it because I like having bigger numbers and it's future-proof. If there's a future Dark unit that doesn't have Dark Mega Drive now, I can put it on them. So there you go. Archive reward, we haven't seen that yet. It's nothing crazy, I think. Gives HP, strength, intelligence, okay. When defeating an enemy, restore HP by 15% and give unit a strength 30% buff. I can see this being useful, but only if you're killing a bunch of enemies, obviously. If you're against a boss, obviously you're going to do nothing, so just think about that. You got to be using the unit in content where you can kill a bunch of enemies. In that sense, I can see it having some use, but not very much, so I don't see myself personally using it very much. Not too excited about this. I would say the main factor that you would want this arc is the traits and also the skills, for sure. Mostly these two skills, I would say. This one's the main one, this one's the second one, and then this one's a maybe, but not as good as these two for sure. And the trait, if you're a new player, this trait is going to be amazing if you get Bradley. If you get Bradley and this arc, you're set for ages. That's a ridiculous long time. Yeah. Well, here's what I try to think of is, how useful is this arc going to be to you for long-term progression? Because that is the most important thing. To me, I think this is going to be one of those arcs that's going to be useful long-term because of the trait being strong and it having limited skill like this one that can be stacked on top of other buffs, and Dark Mega Drive not being on an arc up until now. But again, Dark Mega Drive isn't really going to benefit that many units, only Bradley and potentially some other units if you want that are older. But that's it. I will quickly go over part 1 just to compare the two arcs, just because I'm going to give my recommendation on which one you would prefer getting. It's, at the end of the day, it's up to you what you want to get, but I have my opinions, and some people like hearing people's opinions, and sometimes it's important to know the best things to do. Personally, I probably wouldn't really use this trait. I feel like the part 2 arc trait is way better than this, because it gives damage cap and 35% dark damage, even though the damage cap does require you to have creature. You can put on mimicry creature on all your units and you're fine. It's just in arena that might be a problem, but you're not going to be using it in arena for the damage cap, so why would you do that? Boost skill power based on skill stock, machine equipped, damage taken, restore HP. Yeah, this trait isn't as good as the part 2 arc, but on the other hand, the learnable skills, yeah, here's the deciding factor for me, is the learnable skills, because the part 2 arc has probably less amount of good skills, but does have good skills, and also a good trait, but this part 1 arc has a probably better value skills, in my opinion, because you got Soulbind is actually one I might use in arena, so that can have long-term usability and can be valuable for your account long-term, and so can this as well. But think about it though, in the future, this skill right here could be on an SSR arc, so if that happens, then this arc in general will probably be less useful. And if I'm thinking of it like that, yeah, I'll probably think the part 2 arc is definitely the better one to get. That's really all I can say, I think. It's quite interesting with this collab so far, to me at least. because both units are pretty good and so the arcs. It's kind of rare that we get a collab that has literally everything that's pretty good. Because if I just show you a few examples, if we go to some of these limited arcs, some of these are kind of bad. Like, this one isn't that great for learnable skills, really. I mean, this one maybe, but there's probably a better example on this, but again, not very good. There's probably some other limited arcs that are also not as good. This one has, some are useful, but some are like, probably this one. Nah, I can't say that because this is actually useful, so I guess most of these limited arcs are actually good. Some of them, though, are just garbage. Like, the learnable skills of this one, not really that impressive to me, you know? This one's good, maybe, but that's really it, you know? You got arcs like that, and usually most limited arc traits are not actually that impressive. I think it's good. I think I've talked long enough about the arcs. I think they're both solid for sure, and I would like to have them on the account, but if you are limited on crystals, then just think of what you want personally, because that's the most important thing. And if you have, let's say for instance, this is a good point really, if you have Ed, right, let's say you have Ed, and you're thinking to pull for Ed's limited arc, but you don't have anything in part 2, be smart and think about, it would benefit your account more if you pull on part 2 banner because you're missing both the unit and the arc. Because if you pull on part 1, you could get a dupe of Ed, and that would be terrible. So, since they're both, part 1 and part 2 are both good, I recommend to balance out your summons. That's what I would do. If you get one thing from part 1, no matter what it is, then you should probably move on to part 2 and get something from it, because it would give you a higher chance to get something new. That's what I would do if I was free to play, personally. I would 100% do that. And also the tickets from the event. There was like 20 something tickets. That's good. Now, I guess I will look at paid equipment. I could talk about my summons, but I'll probably do that when we usually would do summons. If I go to credentials, we're just gonna go straight to paid equipment now. I've already got them, so I might have to go to Bradley and show them off here. Let's have a look. I haven't properly looked at them, I just briefly checked them, but they're actually pretty good. We've got the sword here, Dark Attribute Sword. I already got it to plus 20 in alchemy, so just gives it more strength, that's it. Here's the thing, is we don't have that many good dark swords, and if you want to benefit from Goddess Kiss, this is going to be pretty important to you. Gives you 5% crit rate, which is going to help for sure, because since he's got Proud Force and some crit already, Proud Force basically means the more crit rate you have, the more you're going to heal. Think of it like that. So 5% crit rate, going to be more damage and more healing. It's useful. Dark damage 15% isn't an insane amount, but it's still solid, I would say. And you're also getting damage cap 2000 for dark damage, which means your skills and everything that's dark. So this is a very simple sword, I know, but it's 100% the best dark sword that we've got, especially for Bradley, because he can only use it. It's the best dark sword, so for that instance, if you care about Goddess Kiss and you need a dark sword, then get this one for sure over the accessory. Because I've checked this accessory already. But let's have a look at it now. I'm going to equip that for now. The accessory, I was hoping there was going to be like a second sword or something, but the accessory is this one. 100 strength, 70 defense. It's not super impressive, not gonna lie, but it's something. Chance for special to deal crit, dark attack, crit damage, cap 1000. It's kind of underwhelming, really. Now, when you read this, you're definitely going to prefer the sword, 100%. But if you just think about it, it's an accessory, so yeah, it's getting damage cap on an accessory doesn't happen that often. The only problem is if you need damage, this isn't going to add damage, so don't use this. You'll be using this for like PvE content, for sure, but in Arena you won't use this because it doesn't do anything in Arena for you, because special chance to crit and giving dark crit damage cap 1000 is good because you're getting 1000 more crit damage cap for which going to now apply to your specials and your physical damage. So it's okay. It's just kind of underwhelming, really. Like, it could have been better, you know. But special crit damage cap is not bad. I'm okay with it. I just think the sword's way better. Here's both of them. If you have a choice, get the sword 100%. The accessory, get it second if you want, and then after that prisms, because usually better to get the paid equipments over prisms. And yeah, that's really it. There's not too much to say because they're not actually that interesting, but they are both good. This one's just way better than this. You don't need this at all, but it's just a tiny increase. It doesn't increase your damage that much. We're gonna leave it at that, and probably talk about a few more things before we get into Bradley, because still some things we need to show. So, I guess I can just quickly say how I did the summons earlier. Don't really need to say too much other than I did in total about 140 because I got Bradley early from tickets, and then the arc did the same thing as part 1. It basically just went the same as part 1, that's really it. I got the unit early, and then the arc came much later, but I didn't have to pity it, so it's not actually that bad. In the meantime, between getting Bradley and the arc, I did get another Bradley dupe, and since I went so hard on this depth gacha, I have some Bradley prisms, and I got one dupe, so we should have him at decent SC today, which can help for testing, I guess. Maybe allow him to equip more skills. So it went okay. All I really did was just speed through the summons so I can get him early and start learning a bunch of skills, which we'll look at starting to build him soon in a minute. And yeah, that's really what I did. Most of the crystals I spent were on step gacha, but I did do some free crystals too. I'm currently on my Steam account, currently on Steam, so it doesn't have my paid crystals on here, but I don't need to use them today, so that's why I went straight on Steam. Don't have to worry about switching out. Now, I'm just going to quickly show over the event because there is obviously an event update. Personally, I just want to talk about this event a little bit because I wasn't aware of how good this event actually is. You should definitely be farming this event for sure because it is a very good event to farm. I've got 130,000 points. I farmed most of these points last week because there's a good chance that you can get a lot of materials from this. I go trading space, I've already gotten pretty much everything. There are some tickets in here, and one of Bradley's prisms was in here, so make sure to get that. Full SCT skills, well, potentially. I mean, here, I just want to talk about something, I guess, a little bit. SCT is quite important because a unit like Ed, you know, I personally had a lot of fun with Ed, and you could argue Ed could be better because he's got alchemy right. He can spam skills like 7 or 8 skills of a skill 3 non-stop, you know, but Bradley can't do that because he requires other ways to get his SCT, so I would say yes, a unit like Ed that has alchemy does rate him higher because he's easier to use and SCT is quite important. But someone like Bradley only really has the damage and doesn't really have the SCT, which is an issue, but we have a ways around that, like Honey Elixir, and everyone should have apple pie. If you don't, then you have a problem because we got it for free. Why didn't you select it? So yeah, I just want to say this event's very good. Let me do this event once. I'll show you what I've been doing. I'll show you why it's good. Let me just put you back at the front. I'm gonna do this event once, right? And this event has a good chance to give you an extra stage once you beat it, which doesn't require event energy. So what I've been doing is just spamming this button. That's why I like Edge, by the way. You can just do that, spam the button, and everything dies. It's good. So that's how I've been doing the event, and if I have a look, it should give me an extra stage. There's an incredibly small chance that it's going to give you one of the rare stages, which gives you a chance to get a rainbow potion. Obviously not this one. This one's abilities in the snowy north. Yeah, this event is a very good event. I recommend to use a lot of your orb recoveries because I've got so many. Yeah, the flash quest. You can get the flash quest from this stage. It's the one that is the stupid enemy that runs away, that you don't actually have to do any damage to. It's that one. And if you're very lucky, you could get a rainbow potion from it. So think about it. You have a chance to use orb recoveries on the stage to get a rainbow potion. So it's very good. And if I do this bonus stage, it also gives, some of these give a lot of materials, so it's also going to benefit your account because you can get a lot of materials for teaching units and Godforge and stuff like that, so it's very good. I have currently changed my build for Roy. I'm probably going to show this off later too. Before I showcase Bradley in Arena, I'm going to show you my Roy and what I've been doing because it's fun. So yeah, you see I got 7 of these rainbow clusters, red clusters I mean, and 40 of these green crystals. It's just a good event to farm. This is one of the better events to farm for sure, so personally I've been farming it a lot more than other event stages, so for that reason I like this collab for the events. I like this one. High difficulty challenge, I haven't actually done that. It gives, right, not much. Yeah, Roy build is going to be fun. I'll show you what I've done. I'll show you what my build is now for general farming. And this is kind of similar to my arena build, but not the same. So if you see, I've now got him single wield. I got a sword, his paid armor I got from the Crimson Ore shop, and his accessory I already had. I got these both to Godforge. Now this one gives 5,000 damage cap. This one gives 2,500 damage cap too, and 20%. These are just very good at Godforge. They're amazing. I'm going to keep this on. And skills kind of stayed the same for me. Actually, they didn't. I lied. All MP up skills. Arcane up. Magic up for some more MP. Critical up for healing. Fire drive. Pose of honor, yeah. Now, what I did change was this. Favored sword. Double-hander boost. A lot of damage skills right here and damage cap, you see. He actually works well with this. If you saw the shorts video I did, you could see how much damage he was hitting single wield. It's actually pretty good, not gonna lie. I think he is right now a good single wield unit, surprisingly. because his damage cap for dual wield isn't that high, we have skills like these right here that can increase single wield damage by quite a lot. And since he's got this paid armor for 5,000 damage cap, very good for sure. So I already showed you in the event. I don't really need to do another showcase because I did a shorts video. Later on we'll be trying out Arena and trying out Roy and Bradley in Arena later on, but that's closer to the end because we've got a lot of other stuff to do before then. Probably first of all, we should start building Bradley because I haven't done that yet. And I can show you what I've got. Well, here's the thing, is Roy, what I have right now, if he's up against an enemy that has higher fire resistance, then he's not going to do well. You'll be better off using dual wield with Trishula for sure for every content, but for now, most easy content doesn't have enemies with 100 fire resistant enemies, so I don't have to worry about it. You know, if you want to use him for enemies that have high fire resistance, then just switch it to Trishula. I don't think we have as many two-handed machine boosts though. Yes, Roy is still good, but not as good. I mostly talked about in part 1, but he's still good in Arena if you like using him on manual and you have everything available to make him good for Arena. And his other use is for farming. That's really it. If you like making the game easier and clearing stages faster, then he's worth getting, especially for 15,000 free crystals. It's worth it for most people, but if you're one of the people that doesn't really care about farming or doesn't really care about Arena, then you don't need him at all. He's not going to benefit your account really at all, because if you just care about DPS, then he's not the unit for you, because DPS is what he does not have anymore, because he's outdated in DPS. But do you know who has DPS? Bradley is who has DPS. We're going to be looking at him because I need to build him. We might be able to get to level 50 today on the account, potentially. I'm going to use some of these potions. I didn't use a rainbow potion or anything because I farmed some of the stages for XP. So I'm going to use most of these. Yeah, Bradley I haven't used yet, so I don't have any thoughts yet. But I have done my first initial impressions of him earlier, which looks pretty good. I'm gonna try and balance these out. Yeah, well, high difficulty event quests usually mean easy. Maybe that's just me. I could do that in a second. I could do that right now. Level 50? There, we got it. Level 50. It takes so long to get one level. It's rare that you get to see the screen once you reach this level. Love it. Level 50 is going to give more crystals. There we go, this is perfect. More crystals for me. It's going to help a little bit, I guess. It's more saving. That's what I need to do. I could do the event stage. Yeah, I'll do that in a little bit. I won't do that yet. Let's just look at Bradley first because I want to do that. Prisms. Boom. I could get him to, you know, but I don't think I want to yet because he's just a DPS unit, and you know, I've already got Saintly Melee, even though she's mostly a support right now. I like saving these, so I'm not going to use them yet. And I could also get, if I just quickly show you, I could get one here if I wanted to, and then if I go to gacha details, which I can't actually show on the screen for whatever reason, Bradley can replace Roy. I don't know about that. I probably say no. but I haven't tried him yet, so who knows. Reason being, you'll see. Well, it's a lot later in the stream. I kind of want to do it now because it's fun. Let me just load this up. Where is it? Here we go. Let me just do a press. Which button is it? I need to know which one. This one? No. This one. There you go, magic. Look at my magic. This, you see this? I am right here, right? I could get one here, and then if I do another one, I could get another one right there. It could be worth doing. I could get one dupe here and then another one here. That would be plus 4 more. And then he'll be at plus 16, but it's just, I don't know if I want to do that yet. If I feel like my build it needs 4 more SC, or if this 4 SC would benefit my account, then maybe I'll do it. But right now, no, because I haven't even tried them yet, so I might do it later. And I can't even do it on Steam, so let's just go back to Bradley because we need to do that. Let's see. Usually what I would do for hard stages is use one of these teams. Yeah, I still think the game is pretty active, not gonna lie. I don't really worry about that, though. I just have fun with it. What should we do first? Let's learn everything. What's his ward? Please be damage cap. Yes, it is. Perfect. I love damage cap. We're gonna learn everything 4th enhance first, and then do 5th enhance. There's no reason to do a 4th enhance showcase. I stopped doing that now because they're giving a lot of materials for 5th enhance at this point. So there's not really any reason to do a 4th enhance showcase. Maybe in the future they'll release 6th enhance, and then we can do 5th enhance base showcase, and then 6th enhance will be the one that not many people will get once it comes out. I don't know. People are thinking that 6th enhance might come out on anniversary. I don't know. I don't know if that's going to be happening or not. Just have to wait. Dark Drive. Yeah, he's going to have some good damage, I hope. I'm just feeling that the skills I could put on him could be some pretty good skills. Especially when I think of the Infinity Drive skill. I like that skill. Gives 10% more physical damage to light and dark. Basically adding another drive skill. I like it. I feel like light and dark units in the game are the strongest. At least they have the highest potential with skills and equipment. Because we do have a lot of accessories like Equilibrium Sphere that increases light and dark. Physical damage, which is actually free if you get it from story. Let's try and learn everything really fast. I could have done this earlier, but I wanted to wait because I thought it was a good idea to wait and do it now, which it's not really. I could have saved some time if I did this earlier, but I was using all the time learning his skills. We should have everything that I need learned already, and then we can do a full build. That would be fun. Only problem, I don't have Dark Mega Drive yet, because I need to level up the Arc to level 10. Furious. It's funny when there's too many words. The words are too small, so you can't actually read them properly. I can barely read that from here. Maybe in the future there'll be like a whole story about one skill. It's like, if you do this and this, and you go upside down and jump and slash with this skill 1 and skill 2 and use a special afterwards, and you get 100 damage plus, you know, that'd be dumb. That's everything. Might as well awaken then. too slow. Yep. Need to be fast. Speed's gonna be useful if you're not using a skill 1 to close the gap. That'll be good. I do like units like Levi that are very fast. Might as well do that now. Yeah. Here's the thing that's funny, is there's a game that I used to play, right? It came out ages ago, 9 or so years ago, and that Reddit page has less people than the Last Cloudia Reddit page, I believe. And that game has 10 million plus downloads, and Last Cloudia only has 500,000 plus downloads. And it's funny to me because that game's 8 years old, 9 years old, and has 10 million plus downloads, but not that many active players. And Last Cloudia can still be active, even though the downloads aren't as high. Downloads doesn't always matter because it's the amount of players that stick to the game that matters. And this game's pretty fun, it's just the problem is there's not enough content, you know. But if you just don't worry about that, some people complain in certain games about not enough content, but all you gotta do is just play it less and play other things instead, you know. Then you don't have to worry. Because I just play a lot of different games. If you focus on one, complete all the content, of course you're gonna want more. Just don't do that, you know. Now we can look at equipment. Well, I need to unlock the other skills, but let's do equipment now. Recommended equipment. Well, obviously it's paid sword, but he can only equip swords, so we're limited to swords, but that's not a problem because we have so many swords, and you might be bored of swords right now because we have too many sword units. But, good news, we got good swords. Now, I have a bit of a idea, or just I'm not sure which sword I want to use yet. So I haven't decided yet which second sword I want. I'm going to decide right now. Maybe not. There's so many good options, you see. This one's perfect. This one's good. This one's good. This one's good. You see, there's a lot of options, but even so, let me just show the event one. Sword. Dark. Let me do that, that'll be easier. This one, I might, but 10% isn't really enough for me, so I might not use that. Here's my idea. Event weapon. 10% damage to dark. Skill. 500 damage cap. I might use this, surprisingly, because 500 damage cap, he's dual wield, and has extra attacks. 500 damage cap's not going to do much for his dark skills, but I should do the math, I really want to. You know what? I'm going to do that right now, because I want to. If I do 500 and you times it by the amount of hits that these skills are, skill 3 is 44, which means it's adding 22,000 damage on top of a skill 3. Okay, a skill 2 was 15, 30, so 30, there's 15,000 extra damage on a skill 2. I mean, it's something, right? And it's technically, if you're hitting damage cap, then it's better than just putting on damage sword. So, I have a few ideas. Either put on the event weapon, because it's a dark sword, and it's not terrible, or you could put on anything else that you got for a dark sword, like this one's okay, but I would probably prefer the event weapon over that. Also, you could put on a non-dark sword, but then your Goddess Kiss MP procs are not going to be very much, that's why I'm considering. If you need more damage for physical attacks, then put on this. This would probably be the one I use in Arena, for sure. This one for crit rate I prefer Muramasa, yeah. This one can be perfect. If you're up against a boss that has 100 dark resistance, which you probably won't, you could use your special on Bradley, and his special is going to ignore the resistance and do a lot of damage, but he's also a physical DPS unit, so that's not a good idea at all. So in most content, most situations I wouldn't use this. I would focus on lowering resistance. This one could be good if you're hitting damage cap. Better than the event weapon, but the event weapon gives 10% damage, so yeah, there's a lot of good options here personally. But for the moment, I'm going to stick with the event weapon just because why not? And I'm going to do a few tests later on. If I can manage to hit damage cap on god type enemies without slayers, then I'm going to use this sword probably. But if I'm struggling to hit damage cap against those specific enemies, then I'm going to use Muramasa instead, maybe. Or consider a different sword, potentially. And then for accessories, we have good options. There's some already mentioned earlier, which are like, this is good actually for movement speed. Good option. But there are some better ones, like, oh yeah, damage cap. You know, this could actually be better than the paid accessory, couldn't it? Now I'm thinking about it, it actually is, isn't it? That's dumb, isn't it? Oh no. That's stupid. Why? Well, I mean, whatever, I'll just ignore that. Ignore that. Oh. Because this gives special damage cap and physical damage cap all the time. And then this gives critical damage cap, which is not all the time. 1000 is less. Yeah. You don't really need the pet accessory, you can see. Anyways, there's this one, I talked about this earlier, this one's a good option, but the one I'm going to put on is this one, right, I missed it, it's right here in my face, this one, there you go, because this one gives 15% dark damage, which is do all of your damage for dark, which includes your special as well, and you get resistance to stun, which is what you kind of need, because he doesn't have any stun resistance. This will help with that. So I'm gonna go with this build for the moment, but his accessory is kind of underwhelming. I might want to change it out, arguably, because yeah, technically if you're going for damage, if you're going for damage cap potential, this one's technically better than his paid accessory. How? Why did they make an accessory so bad? Unless you can have pursuit attacks on your special from crits, but maybe I'm gonna try that later. That's an idea for another day, which is today, but later. We'll stick with this for now. What the stats looking like? 3,000, 3,744. That's some good numbers. I haven't even put on any skills. This is just base skills and equipment. If you can't already tell, he's gonna be high DPS, high damage. Looks like it. Let's go try him out. After we do the thing that I don't forget to do, which is 5th enhanced skills. Do that now. What's the difference going to be? Going to add more stats. Can he reach 4,000? I bet he can. More MP helps, I guess, a little bit. You know, I'm thinking about it. More MP is going to help if you're against a boss that does have a lot of health, and you need to use a lot of skills and you're not getting MP back, and you don't want to use your normal attacks, then in that case, more MP is going to be useful. Because then you don't have to use normal attacks or get MP, because actually it doesn't matter, does it? Because it's a percentage of your MP. So whatever, ignore me. Dark attack raise 3. I'm going to need more rainbow clusters, aren't I? This 100 attack maybe. His trait, let me see the trait difference from 4th Enhanced. He's almost 4,000 strength, that's quite rare that we see that. So the difference, 40% damage, 10,000 damage cap, I think that's the only difference. I don't think the other half of the trait changes at all. 2, 4, 6. 2, 4, 6, yeah, it just increases the damage and the damage cap, but the damage cap increases by 5,000. So make sure to get that. More health. His health's going to be pretty good too. 9,000 health. I'm quite happy with this. I think that's all of it, right? Yeah. Let's try him out now. Because this should be good. For sure. Those stats. Base stats too. None of these accessories or equipments are giving health either. That's fun. Let's try. My first impressions, I don't know yet because I haven't tried it. For the test, we'll be using Counselor 10 like we usually do. And then I'm going to use him in finding Theria whatever stage. Yep. Let's try him out. Now, here's the thing, is that he has Human Slayer, so he might already hit damage cap. If he does, makes sense. If he doesn't, then okay, he needs a lot of help with damage. If he does, then I'm going to go over to a different stage and test there instead, because that's going to be against God-type enemies. You know the stage I'm talking about, we do that as well. Let's just go. I could have put Honey Elixir or something, because I did learn that, but I'll do that in a minute. So, his base skill stocks, might as well use this Charisma. And now, let's use Counselor 10. What's his base skill stocks? So his base skill stocks would be 4, 3, 3. That's okay. That's not bad. And you can improve that. Right now it's 5, 4, 4 if you were to have Purple Orb, or if you use a Counselor 10 like me. So if you have Purple Orb it's 5, 4, 4, and then you can increase your skill 2 even more from skill stock 2. So you can get your skill 2 to at least 5 if you put on Purple Orb and skill stock 2, so that would be fun. Let's try out these skills. First of all, I'm going to do a normal attack, and let's see what his normal attacks are. They need to be somewhat decent. If they're not slow. 8 good normal attacks, 8 hits, which means 4 per normal attack. That's good. Now let's... The problem is he's got 50 dark resistance. They got minus 50, yeah. He's going to hit cap against these, I guess. Pretty much. Against the boss, I can't see the numbers, they're too small. Yeah, not cap, obviously. Ooh. Yeah, numbers on him is going to be very bad because 50 dark resistance. Actually not terrible, considering 50 dark resistance and base skills. I'm going to do that one more time, and then go to the other stage, probably. Because that would be a better showcase for sure, at least for the moment. And I'm going to stick with him for now, and put on Honey Elixir, because I taught a bunch of skills earlier. It's going to be fun. I can see he's hitting good damage already, which is expected. Not going to use Charisma this time, I'm just going to spam everything. I like this. Oh, this feels very fast to me already. I've just started. That was a lot of hits. Oh, okay. Yeah, there's going to be a change in his skill hit count when you use all your MP. Okay. one more time, but this time I'm going to do it differently and show you the difference. Then I go to the stage, it'll be better. So, I'm going to use one skill 3 right now. Go away. One skill 3 right now. 44, right? And now I use Honey Elixir if the game doesn't flinch me. And now we've got no MP. It's going to do 32, you see. So, that's a lot of... that's 12 hits less that you're doing. And now we've got flinched, great. So you definitely want those extra hits. It's still good though, look how strong this is. His crits are hitting damage cap for 40k. How? Dunno. I like this already. It really reminds me of Levi a lot. Let's go to the other stage, then you won't have Slayer damage in there. That'd be something. I could try that again with Theopolis. Could be. Yeah, we'll do that later. There's quite a few testing things I wanted to do today. Let's try this. I don't remember what dark resistance they've got. If they've got 100, well 50, they might. They do, so this is even worse. Well, fine. I'm gonna do it differently then, and put in Thuria with Theopolis, and see what damage is then. That works. Doesn't matter which Thuria it is, really. She's not going to do anything. I think Council of 10 on Bradley's going to be pretty useful. So my plan is I'm going to wait 10 seconds because I want the defense buffs to go away. Well, defense debuffs because make it fair. And then might as well use this. And then we'll wait for a second, and I'm going to use Theopolis now, and then we're going to use a bunch of skills and kill them all and see what the damage is like. So, skill 1. Oh my god. Okay, well, that's, a lot of hits, if you couldn't tell. Oh. They didn't instantly kill him, but that's quite impressive, because he doesn't have any skills on him, just his base skills at 5 enhance. Let me do that again, but not wait. I'm just gonna use Theopolis and Council of 10 and start spamming things, and let me spam skill 2 non-stop and see what happens. Because he hits some pretty good damage, and they are God-type enemies at 0 resistance, so it's kind of a good showcase. Let's just spam skill 2 and see if it kills them all. Yep. 30k? Okay. That skill 2 is pretty good. That's skill 2. His skill 3 is decent too. I'm gonna do it one more time, but with a skill 3 only this time. And then maybe we can start building him properly, probably. Looks like he might do some good damage in arena then if he's hitting good damage already like this against non-human enemies. Skill 3 go. How many skill 3s are going to take? 1? Yeah, 3. 4. 3. Okay. Definitely you can see a skill 2 is the best one. Skill 3 is not terrible. It's just there's a bit of a delay. If he gets caught in that delay, then it's gonna be a problem. Yeah, I'm interested to try him out later. That's gonna be one of the things we do towards the end, I believe, because I want to build him properly first and everything, which we'll probably do now. And also try out Roy in Arena. It wouldn't surprise me if Bradley's good in Arena because he's got a lot of damage that looks like it's going to be perfect. And only problem with it is his close range is going to be a problem. He's going to die quite easily. That's what I'm worried about. Let's try and make a full build, right? So what's the plan? My plan, well, what I would have done is I would have taught him Dark Mega Drive, but the Arc right now currently isn't a level 10, so I can't get that yet. And that would have been a skill that I would put on his final build, so this isn't going to be my permanent build yet. I'm just going to do this and try out a build without Dark Mega Drive and see how expensive it is, because there's a lot of skills that I would like to put on and I know would do good. It's just I don't think I can fit all of it on. If I were to get a perfect build, I would have Dark Mega Drive, Honey Elixir, Goddess Kiss, some other damage cap skills and weakness and the Holy Circle. But I don't think I can fit all of that on, as well as the damage, so let's see. Let's just start with a build that I would want to use for a DPS. Let's try to fit on everything and see how much SCT we've got, because I don't think we can fit on everything. I was thinking weakness and Holy Circle, because you know why. Reducing dark resistance because he can't equip Trishula is going to be important. And then some crit. I'm just going to put on crit up 2 because I feel like crit up 2 is the most worth skill. More value than crit up 3 and 1. Because you're spending 1 more SC for 3% more crit, and then this is 7 SC, but he's already got that. Aim vitals don't really need, just a PvE content build. And I'm not going to worry about Slayers, because that's for like more specific content. Fast Matisse's a maybe. Fast Critical's a yes. That's worth it. His strength's going to be pretty high. It already is without the strength buff. Awaken you could put on as well. Pride, yep. Wow. Ardor. Do I need this? Not really. It would help crit. For more crit damage. If I could. I'm not going to put that on for now. Awaken I might for Arena. Gotta remember he's dark. Let's get to the dark skills right here. Dark Drive, High Drive. Infinity Drive. I would put on Dark Mega Drive, I just need to learn it. I could put on Dark Attack Raise 2 instead for the moment, because it's the same cost. That's a smart idea, I guess. And then I just say, oh, it's going to be replaced later, but it's the same cost. So this build was going to be the same, just change one skill. Great idea. Pose of Honor and Glory is, you kind of need that. I was considering this. If you're doing waves, this is a maybe. But Goddess Kiss. So far we're looking okay on SCT. Skill costs. SC. SCT and SCT are just two similar words that get mixed up all the time. Piercing. Do I need anything else? No, no. Extra attack shield. Extra attack boost. No. No. Sword boost. Yep. He's got high boost and mega boost already. Don't need anything else here. Now, here's a few skills I was considering, is stuff like this. 500 damage cap for skill 2. You might as well. It's not much, but it's something. For that reason, I'll put it on. Because his skill 2 is his best skill. That's why. And Purple Orb now is when I'm going to start running out of skills. Well, now is when I'm going to start running out of SC. For sure, because I'm trying to fit on too many things at the same time. We can almost fit in everything. We're so close, but we can't quite. We're not quite there. Giant Killing 2. Should I put on Giant Killing 2 or Lunar Zodiac Power Attack? Well, it's a good question because it's 2 SC difference. I want that. I pretty much can fit on everything, but I need to choose between those two. If I put that on, then I've got 4 SC left to put on something. Tempting, because his rage is important for him. I should probably... I might... I don't know, it's either one. If I was going against bosses, then that would be better, wouldn't it? So, fine, I'll put that on. And then for 2 SC... 2 SC. Not really much you can do with 2 SC, so for that reason, I think I'll just put on crit up, and then we'll leave it there. I think, actually, I could put on speed ups because I haven't done that, but I don't think that's super important at the moment. Fast speed, then I'd be left with 1 SC. Damn it. Should I do this? Should I? Yeah, fine. Let's stick with that for now. There you go. The stats don't really change, but that's because you're better off doing damage skills. So this is the build for the moment. It's not final build, it's just a build that I feel like could do well. This would be changed for Dark and Mega Drive. I just need to get that arc leveled up. We got more damage cap, more damage, Purple Orb for skill stocks, more skill stocks, and weak Holy Circle. Let's just see what this does. I'm interested now. I'm going to do a test, and that test is going to be a test against the God-type enemies that I was attacking earlier, but this time we're not going to do Theopolis, we're just going to do him like this, by himself, with weak and Holy Circle, and see what damage he does, like this. So, Council of 10. Skill stocks are looking good. Let's first try out damage against a 50 resistance enemy that's a god type. He doesn't have Slayer, and 50 resistance, he's not... I don't expect him to do very much against this. Most units wouldn't. If they were in this scenario, they wouldn't really do much damage. Yeah, not too much, really. And now if we put on weak and Holy Circle, he's now at 10, and we use a skill again. I saw a cap. He's hitting cap on crits only, I believe. Yeah, looks like it. Well, now I know. Let's do it on the boss now. Let me... Normal attacks. MP is giving 91, 50, 55. That's good. I'm happy with that. That's decent. It's not terrible, you know. It's just that he's kind of relying on crits. There's something I could do. I kind of want to now. Let me try against a different stage and see what that does. It's a more difficult stage against one enemy. Could be good or not. So against those god enemies, obviously he didn't really do too well, but against crits he could hit 47k somehow. That's pretty high. But if I was thinking about it, is that good enough for general content? Maybe, probably, but ideally would want some more damage or something, wouldn't you? I think so. Or you can take off Council of 10 and put on a different arc. Let's go up against this guy because he's human type and his dark resistance plus 50. So this will be interesting. We're going to get flinched a lot, so keep that in mind. I'm not going to do weakness or anything yet. Yeah, nothing. That's because he's guarding though. Okay, 20k when he's not guarding. Now let's do the weakness and holy circle. And it should be somewhat decent, right? Yeah. Look at this. It's not bad. He does have a lot of guard going on. That's... okay. You know, he's a human type, but it works. So, you know, it's a new record as well. How? That's funny. Well, that was good. Now let's do a few more things. We need to do the... well, that's going to be difficult to showcase the full damage cap. That's going to be incredibly more difficult than usual because he needs to get hit and it requires RNGesus. So that's gonna be difficult, but I'm gonna try doing that. Let's just do this again. Obviously he's gonna kill them all easily. He should do. Apart from boss that has 50 dark resistance. Should still be good damage though. Haven't even been using charisma. Maybe I should. That's really fast. That's so good though. He's hitting damage cap against that enemy, the boss, that has 50 dark resistance, but he does have human slayers and some good damage, so it makes sense, I guess. They are weak enemies, gotta remember that. Let's do... what should we... I'm gonna do one of these, and then we'll try out a few things, and soon we'll try out Arena, because that'll be fun. Try out Arena for a while, and see how things go. The plan now is Honey Elixir, use all MP, do normal attacks. All MP's back already. Oh. Use that, and then do a one of these and a one of these. They're dead. This is good. This is very impressive. 40k. And it could be increased by 2000 with Dark Mega Drive. This is good. This is great. I like this. We haven't even tried a special out yet. We should do that. I want to do that. I'm gonna do... what should I do? Does it work against that other enemy? I'm gonna try that, you know. Why not? I have an idea, and I'm gonna try it right now. But I don't know if it's gonna work, so... Let's do something that we don't usually do. And that's a full special damage cap build thing. Eldravana. I need a support. It's gonna be just you for the moment with Theopolis. And what else do I need? That's good enough. No, it's not. We need another support. Doesn't matter who it is. With Count Great War Ruin. And this will do. I think. You'll see what I'm getting at in a second. I just want to see if this works. Here we go. Watch this. Here's my idea. Holy Circle. Theopolis. Great War Ruin. And now we use a special. He should be at -10 dark resistance right now. And -20, that's perfect. And now we're going to see what his damage is like on his special, and if it can hit damage cap. I don't know. It should do, I would think. Because I've done a lot of setup for this, so use it. This should be good. How much damage does it do? Ooh. Oh. Okay. Was that like 4 mil? Was that 4 mil? Let me go back and do a damage. He was at 8.2 and now he's at 4.3, so that's almost 4 mil. That was like 3 point... Wow. That was like 3.9 mil damage, I believe. In one special. And... I'm gonna do something else. And this idea may not be as good, but I want to do it for the sake of doing it. And that's going to be the same thing, but not the same thing, which is a different arc, which I don't think... I think Icy Guide is only physical crits, isn't it? Yeah. But I believe this one, after criticals deal an extra attack. You know where I'm going with this. More crit is what we need right now. We're going to do a full crit build, and I believe... Actually, let's just keep it the same and just see what the difference is, just for fun. His special damage is actually pretty good. So... do the same thing again. But this time we got a different arc on, which... Let's see what the damage is going to be this time. I'm going to assume it's going to be less, but I don't know, because I haven't really used this arc specifically for special damage before, so I don't know how good it is compared to the other one. Well, it was like no difference really. It was like probably worse. So, yeah, it's not really a good idea to do that. Unless I had much higher crit rate, then it could potentially be better, but for now it's not. That's interesting. Now, I guess I could do one more thing, which is full damage cap special, and see how much that does. I could do that. Hang on. If I have a look, he's got next skill. Rage is... what's the rage? Physical. Okay, so I don't need to worry about that for special then, do I? No. Okay. Or I could increase it more from accessories. But for now, let me start doing a... I'm gonna do the highest damage cap for special builds in a second. And then, well, right now. And then after that we'll try his physical damage, because that's gonna be fun. But I gotta think about how I want to do this. Let's just do a similar thing with... Oh yeah, that's amazing idea. Okay, idea. Eldravana. Who increases special damage cap? I believe you do. Physical damage cap. Never mind. Sarah does. And Roland does. So we'll do that. You're... Yeah. Okay. Got an idea. Here's my idea. You'll see it. It's going to do a lot of damage. Even more than last time. And... here we go. I just need that. It's going to do a lot more. But I kind of need this as well at level 10, because yeah, this will be good. This should be amazing. This should be incredibly good. If it's not, I'll be surprised. Okay, let's do it. Just don't mess it up, okay? That's all I need to do, is don't mess up. That's it. It's not that hard. This is gonna be one of the highest damage specials in the game that you're going to see right now. Guaranteed. Let's use you and you. I need Melee to use her skill thing. Box on Brad. I believe that's all damage cap. And then what else? I'm forgetting already. I'm pretty sure charisma's fine, right? Yeah. And now I need you. Special damage cap 8,500. Perfect. There we go. And then a Theopolis. And I believe we're done. It should be good enough, right? Yeah, 0 resistance though, I guess could be better. Let me just do Holy Circle and then use it now. How much damage? 7 mil down to how much? That did almost 6 mil damage, didn't it? Oh, yes it did. Oh wow. That's so good. That's one of the hardest hitting specials. That was a lot of setup required, but still. That special's pretty crazy. Reminds me of like Logzea's special, but single target instead. That's pretty good. I like that. That was a good showcase though, because that's his maximum potential that you can see right there for special. Which was, let's say it was 5.9 mil in one special against a boss. Which, yeah, is crazy, but that's because I had a bunch of buffs and stuff on him too. Now we could do one for physical damage. And for that, I usually do a Prefect of God and Tinkili and Sarah, units like that, I think. Yeah. Yeah, good enough. Do I need Theopolis? Well, not really. I might as well for this time. Could do that. The only problem with this is it's kind of difficult to do this. Yeah, that's fine. tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try to get hit and pay attention to the buffs. If I just check them both. This one, chance to evade, and when evading, next skill, use damage cap. So we need to evade attacks, and we also need to get hit and hopefully get rage. So what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to try to pay attention to that and see if we can get both active. If not, then we'll just do it anyway. But I'm going to spend some time just seeing how many hits I need to take for them to activate, because that's something that I want to know. So right now, got these buffs, so that's fine. Now let's just get hit a bunch of times. I'm not going to do any setup yet, I'm just going to use that and then wait, I guess. Yeah. Might as well. Now hit me. I want to be hit many times. And I want to know what it's going to look like when I get hit. I got something from that. I evaded. There we go. Boost skill damage limited. Boost skill damage cap. Ooh. Did that mean we got both of them active right now? That would be perfect if we do. Look at it here. These two, I believe. I think we got both of them active right now. That was lucky. Unless it's a good chance. Okay, let's do the setup now then. Hopefully the AI's not dumb and uses things. To prevent the AI from being dumb, use charismas. I believe magic doesn't count as a skill, so we should still have his buffs active, right? Hang on. I don't know if these buffs are going to overwrite buff icons. I don't think so, because it said limited under it. Let me just check. Let me check. They should still be there, right? Limited, limited, yeah, they're both there. This is going to probably be, if this works like how I think it's going to be, then it's going to be the best. Now, go. This should be amazing if this works. I think this is going to be some really... What numbers is going to be? My prediction is 60 something. I think. If it's 70, then I'll be surprised. 63, 62? Yeah, now it's 57 because I used... Okay. Okay. Oh right, one of those limited skill buffs was from the Prefect of God Arc, I remember. The other one was from evading. I don't think we had rage, which meant that we could have gotten more damage cap from that, I think. I could try that again, but it's difficult to set this up properly because it's kind of hard. I guess I could put in another Sarah and change you out for a melee. I guess so. Fine, but she might start killing things and I don't want that to happen. It's difficult to test this, it really is. That's good enough. Maybe I could try the other stage instead, you know? That's a smart idea that I should probably do, you know? Yeah. But, too late. Hit me. You're gonna do this on King Bradley. I guess I don't need to do this yet, do I? No. Just hit me now. Okay, I should have, because she used that. Okay, well. I'm not really getting hit at all. I want to see if I can get the rage buff. This isn't really good, is it? Fine. This normal attack's pretty good. I got the present, and I want to get rage, but this is difficult to do, isn't it? Because you're just standing around trying to get hit many times. Okay, fine, I give up. I'm just gonna go for it. Oh. I don't know why I did that. It's whatever, it's fine. I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, that killed him. Well, let's go to a different stage. I'm gonna go to the other one. The guy that has more health. Because that might work. Better than this. I think it will. And then soon, after that, we will try Arena. Because that's gonna be interesting. My prediction for Arena is he's gonna do a lot of damage, but die a lot at the same time. I think it's gonna need a lot of revives and maybe awaken one and things like that. Let's do this. This time I'm gonna don't know. I'm going to do just seeing what supports. I don't really have any. Okay, fine, we'll stick with this then. I'll change you out for Sarah and we'll try this. I think. Yeah. She's currently my support, but for the moment I'll put that on. Don't want you to use skills, and this should be fine. For testing purposes only. So, main thing I'm gonna do here is just I want to get hit. That's it. I just want to get hit. That's the main purpose of this. I'm just testing parry. Well, is rage a buff or a debuff? Don't know. Parry's activating. That's the less crit damage taken. Right, ultimate eye. I think that's one of them, right? Yeah, one of them limited. I want rage. Give me rage. Make me angry. There it is. There you go. Can't use magic, boost attack, and cut defense. There you go. Perfect. Now we got both of them active at the same time. We can use this. And there's a problem with this is he can't use honey elixir when he's like this. So there's a problem. A little bit. And you're gonna do this on Brad, and then you're gonna do that, and this will be good. This is gonna be the highest I can probably get to right now. Okay, I'm probably gonna get flinched. Yeah, I didn't see what that number was. But I still have rage, so we're fine. But not the other deck. I'm gonna use... I don't know what I'm doing, I'm just spamming things. What number did I see right there? Let me see. That was... 69,699. What a nice number. That was so close to 70,000, you can't be more joking than that. That would have been 70,000 if I had Dark Mega Drive learnt, but we're not going to worry about that. I think that's all we're going to do for now. I'm going to do one more showcase by himself again, and then we'll go to Arena. I could do that stage again by himself, that's probably a good idea, fine. I'll do it one more time and then we'll go over to arena because definitely want to do that. Let's do... Need to change this again. Yep. And now... Let's just do this. By himself with... God of Ruin. Because why not? I think it can still faint though, so that might be a problem sometimes. Let's just go. Yeah. I just want to see what damage he does by himself against this, and this is kind of a basic performance thing, and then try him out in arena and Roy. So what I would do is Holy Circle, weak, Honey Elixir. He's gonna poke me and then a Honey Elixir. Or Apple Pie, either one, whatever you have. And then a Charisma. And then I smack him. Get MP. More MP, there you go, good enough. And then you do damage. Look at this good damage. Stop hitting me. There you go. It's good. I think he's definitely going to be good. At least from that alone shows that he can be good by himself. And I know the enemy was a human type, but still. He had 50 dark resistance and has a lot of damage reduction from the guarding and stuff like that. He's got high defense, I think. But that was still good. And 40k damage cap just from using skills is quite impressive. One thing I could potentially do is compare him to Bayonetta, which probably shouldn't, but Bayonetta DPS is actually worse than Bradley's DPS for skills. I'm not going to show it, I'm going to move over to Arena now. Because I could show at least the unit itself. Bradley's the newest unit. We've got a few dark units in the game now. Bayonetta was the last one. Now, some people might have this unit. If you've got Bayonetta, you don't really need Bradley at all because she's good enough. And you don't really need Bradley if you just care about dark DPS. Because that's really all the units are. Both of them. Bayonetta, I guess, has more useful, I guess, buffs and stuff, but not too much. Her DPS is less, so if you want a full DPS, then Bradley's going to be better. Yeah, because you got SCT and some survivability and stuff, and they're kind of similar in a way. But for DPS, Bradley's definitely better. It's kind of sad because Bayonetta is still a new unit that came out not that long ago, and now we've got another collab with another dark unit, and they're already better in terms of DPS. DPS is always increasing. You just have to remember and remind yourself that we don't actually need more DPS because we don't have the content that requires high DPS. Unless you care about time trials, that's really it. So let's try out Arena. Here's what I've been doing recently. I've been having fun with Roy. I'm going to show off Roy first, and then we'll start messing around with Bradley in Arena. That's the plan, and then we've been here for quite a good amount of time already. Kind of surprised considering we didn't do any summons, so good thing I did the summons beforehand, otherwise we would be here for too long. Let's just have a look at Roy's build at the moment. I'm not too fussed about showing this because it's fine, it's just on my attack team, it doesn't matter too much. He's only for manual gameplay. He's not really good for auto, unless you built him specifically for auto, which you could do on defense, but it's not perfect. You can see I've got a lot of MP. Stats are mostly focused on intelligence. Equipment, This is interesting, because for Arena, you know you can't really get much MP. Well, this changes that. You can get MP when you kill an inedible enemy, which is most enemies in Arena, because most enemies are going to be human type, which you can't eat, obviously. Unless you're cannibal, that doesn't count though. Or like god type or something, like Mia or Lagrange are god types that can't really be eaten, so you get more MP for killing them. Good. And then this is just a lot of damage. This MP regen, more damage and damage cap, and more damage here in MP is pretty important, and crit rate. These two giving MP and getting damage, very good. All of this stuff, love it. And then for the skills, it's highly focused on MP, because you'll see why. You don't know who anyone's seen this build and me try them out, but you'll see in a second. Some crit up. I've been messing around with this build. Human Slayer. He has Human Slayer, so I put on special boost. Curse resist helps. Kinda need that. So you can use your skills. Fire driving, Moonlight. Most of these are going to be damaged by focused skills, because all he's focused on is killing everything in a skill 3 as much as possible. And that's basically it. There isn't much else. Just mostly damage, right? Even got sharp eyes on there. And yeah, a lot of damage. Now let's try this out, because you're probably curious how this works. Well, let's just find a team that I know I can kill that isn't gonna murder my face in 2 seconds. Someone that doesn't have Amelia, like this one, could work well. Now, prepare your ears for Roy's skill 3, because it's definitely explosive, to say the least. I shouldn't be on auto. Skill 3. Look at this. Oh, this is fun. Oh, you see how good this is? This is funny. This shouldn't be existing right now. It shouldn't exist. This shouldn't be a thing that we're allowed to do, but it is. And it only works on manual, because you can only use skills from MP on manual. So auto's not going to do anything for you, and he doesn't have any revives at all. He hit 30k, 32,000 damage cap. Roy did. Roy did all this damage. It's funny. It's incredibly funny, and it's fun at the same time. So I've been doing an arena like this the past few days, just having fun with Roy, and just using S3 to kill everything instantly, and it's fun. You could try it, but it's got a lot of limited stuff, and I got both of his paid equipment. You kind of need at least his paid clothes, and even his paid accessories is good too. Now, focus on Agrabah's skill 3. Obviously Roy dies, but that's expected. He's kind of weak. He doesn't survive. So once he gets touched, he just dies instantly, and then I can do another one of these. Perfect. And then wait, and then here's another one. They're dead. It's good. Now, this isn't a Roy Showcase stream, but I wanted to show it to you anyway, because it's so fun. And I could just do this all day. Well, not really, but this is so fun that you just need to press a button, and you don't need to focus about where you're targeting or anything. Obviously it's easier on auto, but this is fast, and it works for a lot of teams too. It only doesn't work on teams that use Amelia, so she'll be a problem. If you're attacking anyone that's using Amelia, then just use Mia. I always try and get far away, but it doesn't always work. And yeah, you can see that sometimes it's a problem, but not if you get a skill 3 off like that. And then you wait, and then use one, and then you die, and wow. It's funny. I saw 33,000 damage cap right there. This is single wield Roy in Arena working stupidly well, and it's so funny. how it works. I'm gonna leave it there because you've probably seen enough. I just wanted to show that because some people might be interested. I don't really do any videos or anything on Arena because obviously I could do guides and stuff like that, but Arena's more competitive, you know, and not everyone likes sharing information about competitive things, and that's why I usually just do my own thing with this and just chill out with it. And I just casually get top 50 for the You Are Stardust now, and I have meta teams, yeah, but I don't really share them too much. Let's start with Bradley in Arena. I haven't tried this. My guess he's going to do a lot of damage and just die quickly, which will be a problem. But what arc am I going to use? Well, for this showcase, I kind of want to use this arc. I think this will be good. For sure. Now let's build him. I think he's going to need revives. Definitely at least 1 or 2. And a lot of damage obviously is important. So let's focus on putting skills on him first, and then we'll do equipment. I want to balance damage and surviving, but mostly it's going to be damage because it's going to be DPS unit for sure. I think for survivability I mostly just need decoy and things like that. Let's see. Got a lot of SC to work with, so this should be good. In theory, but doesn't always work like that though. Crit, aim vitals. I think I might do a crit build, just a maybe. Sure, why not? Crit up 1. Not gonna do that yet. Proud Force. Yeah, Human Buster and Special Boost gonna be very good for this. What else? I could try like Fast Protection or something that could maybe help a little bit at the start of the battle to survive a few hits. I could try that, but I don't know if that's even going to do anything for me. Like, will Fast Fort and Protection even make me survive a hit? It might not even do that. I'll put that on in case. Maybe Fast Speed. Should I? I mean, I probably think he's going to use skill 1s most of the time. At least at the start of the battle, use skill 1, that's the plan. So he might not need that. Awaken I was considering. I'll try it. Pride, Shore, and Ardor, and now we go to down here. I don't need these, they're not really worth it for Arena. Infinity Drive, yep. Puzzle Glory, Honor, Victory, maybe? Yeah. Goddess Kiss, no, don't really need that for Arena. Skill Charge is important. Surprise Attack and Backstab might be something that I'm interested in, and Sky Highs for sure. I might have to remove some of these. Beast Repellent, I think. What else? Extra Attack Boost, Shockwave, yeah, for sure. That's a good one to have. Because it's dual wield, higher chance for it to happen. I could put on Skill 2 Boost, something like that. Skill 1 Boost. It's a good idea. But I don't think so yet. Purple Orb. Skill Charge 1. I don't know what skills I want to use on him yet. So I'm just going to put on everything. Decoy, now I'm running out of skills. Let's see. Yeah, I need to remove stuff. I at least want to put on Besties, and I think that's all I want. I think I have to remove. It's a difficult decision. Well, it's not going to be a final build, it's not going to be perfect, so I guess I don't need that, and then I can put on the speed. Fast speed, yeah. Sounds good. This will be good enough, I think. There you go. Now, weapons is going to be a bit different, I think, because you don't need dark weapons for this. You just want as much damage as possible. So for that, Muramasa. Second one, got to be a sword. But which one? Maybe this one. Anything better? I mean, there is this paid one, but yeah, that might. Sure, I'll put that on. It gives damage and crit rate. Yeah, I'm gonna keep that on. And then for accessories, is I think I know what I want for these. One is gonna be Equilibrium Sphere, I think. It's either Equilibrium Sphere or this one. To give him stun resistance, I might be more useful, potentially. Yeah. Second accessory is going to be a revive. I usually like to have at least one revive accessory. Just any random one that I'm currently not using on a unit. Like that one. And we're good to go. This is going to be my build currently. Got 4,100 strength. Wow. I don't know how this is going to do, really, but we have good damage, it seems like, and survivability is not really there, but I try to add some, like Awaken and Fast Protection, but I don't think it's going to help. And then a lot of damage. Sharp Eyes. I think this will be good for damage, I really do. I just worried about him dying. Incredibly bad. Incredibly fast death might happen. I don't know who I want to hit. I don't know, because if it's anyone that even blows on me, I think I'm dead. So we just do a random one for now and hope. I mean, it doesn't matter if I lose, because the points that I lose is not really important. So my plan is I'm just going to use skill 1 to start off with and see what damage was that. Okay. Well, it's killing stuff, so yeah, it works. His skill 1's pretty good. And now we're gonna get flinched, obviously. Rage. Yup. And one of these. That was fun. Okay. You know, I'm happy with this damage that I'm seeing right now. That's pretty good. Obviously, I think if I go up against a full tank team, it's not going to work well. I'll test that out. I'm going to do that next. I'm going to go spar someone, probably, that has a full tank team. 38k. Okay, that's impressive. That was dual wield damage too. Maybe he could be used on auto to spam skill 1, potentially. I'm just thinking about it. Let's try to find some random person who's using a tank. I guess that could potentially work. Maybe. Sure, why not? So let's see what damage he takes from Amelia and how much damage he does to tanks. Is he going to die from Amelia, yes or no? Maybe, he could do. Probably. I mean, it depends. If she's incredibly strong, I don't know his resistance of ice. Yeah, not really. I don't think Awaken works when that goes off, so I don't think this can really work, can it? I can do good damage to Thuria, but it's just the blizzard. It's too much for him to do anything, so... At least I know Jan's gonna survive fine, because she doesn't really take damage from that. I can't really showcase this if Amelia's just gonna kill everything, you know. That's the problem. Well, I can do this. There we go. And now, you wait. Can someone revive? Why is nobody... there we go. And now I can use stuff again. There we go. Kill you. Kill you. Obviously you didn't do it fast enough. Well, it did some damage to Gorm, but I can't really test this with Amelia, you know, because this isn't really a full tank team. I've seen better ones for tanks. I know for sure, I think that he's not going to be able to kill, like Murren, but against units like Gorm, yeah, like, this is good enough for a tank team. Against Gorm, maybe he could do some damage. But I don't expect to be surprised. So let's just see what the damage is like on Thuria first. Nothing. No damage. That's the problem. What about you? Something. Anyone dead yet? Yep. Good. That's good. They're dying. Like to see that. Yeah. Okay. It's working at least. Now I need more skills. Yeah, I don't think he's going to be perfect against tanks, but you can see... Don't flinch me. You can see he's still doing good. Enough. At least. Though. Could work. On auto, though. Maybe not. What's the damage? 16k? Let's just do a few more proper battles then. And I guess we'll leave it there, because... Yeah, this would have been a good one to try, I think. Should I try it? Fine. This will test his damage properly, I think. But I think we've seen how it can be. But the problem is, Sarah can't... She doesn't get affected by Slayers. And Murren is machine type, so those two are going to be harder to kill than like Thuria and Gorm. But even those two can survive some hits. Now you're dead. Kill Gorm. Gorm's dead. It can do some damage to Sarah. She's dead. Okay. Okay, it's something. Just wait for this stupid meteor rain to end and then do one of these and one of these. Okay. It's not bad, but I know this tank team I don't think is super tanky. So I personally haven't seen that many tank teams right now, recently. Yeah. It works. Let me go back against a few more difficult teams, and we'll just mess around with that for a little bit and see what I think. Because he could be fun for manual gameplay. For auto, he is gonna suicide a lot, but he could maybe work on auto. Potentially like Adele spamming skill 1, similar to that, but I don't think it's ideal. I'm looking for points as well. Probably gonna die. I assume if Bradley gets touched once, he's gonna die. Or maybe twice. He's gonna die horribly, so just be careful. They died, that's good. Good stuff. Okay. That's good. I like what I'm seeing. This is good. Okay. Yeah, well, I think it's good. At least, so far, it looks like he can do a lot of damage, but if I were to compare him to Roy, just for instance, I think he, at least at the moment, can clear things a lot faster, and if you can manage to get an S3 off everything, it can just hit everything, so. But Bradley looks like maybe he can do more damage if we need it. Let me do a few more because it's fun. And then we'll probably leave it there because I've been here for a while. No. Probably not. I guess. I'll probably have fun with him later, trying him out in some stages and leveling up the arc to get him Dark Mega Drive. Good stuff. Yeah, obviously he's going to die from Lagrabos, that's kind of expected. And he's going to end up suiciding. I think his S1's not bad, really. Stop screaming. I like it. Yeah, okay. Well, I could try an auto, but trust me, it's not going to do well at all. If I were to do it on auto, I'd probably go for prioritize skill 1 if I were doing auto. Now I kind of know what skills I'm using. I could go for skill charge 3. I think this is fine. Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that's it. He seems pretty good in arena, not gonna lie. Obviously the main problem is he's gonna die very fast. A very big problem for him. But if you're doing manual, and you have some revives available, and you can manage to get some skills off him, he's gonna be pretty good for that. But I think mostly he's just gonna be a very good unit for PvE content and killing a lot of bosses quite fast. I don't know what to say with which unit is better, because they're both good at their own thing. Personally, I just feel like Ed's easier to use. I think most people are probably going to prefer Bradley as a unit, because Shift Ed is kind of boring, in the fact that he's not that much different from his original form. The way he looks and stuff like that is kind of similar, and I get that. He's not as interesting, but he does have alchemy, and he can use machines. You can put on Trish if you want, and he has that ability to be used in more content than Bradley. And alchemy is just so good. So that rates Ed a lot higher. If he didn't have alchemy, he wouldn't be as good as he is right now. And then Bradley's just for DPS, he's incredibly good for DPS. So what I'll probably say is Bradley's mostly for damage, right? But Ed's going to be easier to use, and you don't have to worry too much about how to get your skills for Ed, because you can just use MP and get MP and use your skills that way. So it's a lot easier, and in some cases more fun. But if you know how to use Bradley, and you can manage his MP as well, because he needs MP to use skills. Most people should have apple pie. If you do, it's going to be perfect on Bradley, but you got to remember that you need MP for your extra attacks for your skills. So if you use apple pie, you need to then either kill an enemy with Pose of Honor to get 5% MP back, and kill an enemy each time, or you need to put on Goddess Kiss and have dark weapons and do some normal attacks to get that MP back. Either way, it works, and if you can do that, his DPS on his skill 2 at least is going to be amazing, and one of the highest DPS units in the game for skill 2. Even his skill 3 is pretty good too, and S1 is not as good, but it's still decent. So if you've got all that available, even with his arc, you could make him incredibly strong as a DPS. It's just, how important is that to you? You decide. If you don't have any good dark DPS, then he's worth getting. If you've got a unit like Bayonetta, then you don't need Bradley. It's just if you want him, that's the thing. If you want him, then go for it. If you care about saving, then do that instead, because there's Anniversary coming soon. But at the end of the day, you never really are required to pull for a unit. You just also got to remember, yeah, they probably won't come back for a long time because they're limited units. At the same time, DPS units get released all the time. They're not super unique and exciting because they're just DPS units at the end of the day, but he does have some unique skills to him, and I think he seems pretty fun. So that's at least my opinion at the moment from looking at him. He's going to be top tier, but the one thing that kind of damages his score, I would say, is the fact that he doesn't have as many things available for his SCT. He can't use alchemy and things like that, and he can't use Trishula either because he's required to use 2 swords, so he's more limited of what he can use, but he's pretty strong in where he can be used in. So that's really what I think about these units. The arcs, though, on the other hand, I think they're both good, and they both have long-term value. I'd probably say the part 1 arc for its learnable skills. I don't know, they're both good for their learnable skills, I'll be honest. I can't really say one is better than the other one. It's just, if you prefer one, then you can go one for one if you want. Like I said earlier, let's say you got Bradley on this arc, you don't have the arc, you don't have anything from part 1, you're probably still better off pulling on part 1 because you have a higher chance to get something new on your account. Because if you get a dupe of Bradley, that could have been a Ed unit on your account instead. Just think about it like that, and I'm sure that if you spend your crystals in a clever way, then you don't really have to worry too much, and that's going to be good. I would say one thing though, that definitely this arc has a better arc trait than the other one. The arc trait in part 1 isn't very good, it's not really something I would use, but this arc trait is definitely something I would want to use at some point on dark units. And you could even use it on Bradley because it's that good. 35% dark skill damage and some damage cap, but you gotta kind of make a team around creatures and put on mimicry creature on everyone, so they're both good. I think overall my thoughts about this collab, it's very good collab. I'm happy they did this collab rerun because Roy is still good, and it's got a very good limited arc, which pretty much everyone should have selected because it's that good. The mechanical automail mechanic arc is something that everyone should have gotten for free because it's got apple pie and that's probably the main reason why this collab is good, and the fact that there's also Roy available, and the fact also that the 2 new units and 2 arcs are both valuable. So that's really what I think. I think it's definitely one of the better rated collabs in my opinion. I would rate it better than most of them. It's definitely on the higher end. Like, in my opinion, the top collabs for me are Dr. Stone, Devil May Cry, and this one, of course, Fullmetal Alchemist, and then the one that get Honey Elixir from. Those 4 I would put the highest, and then after that, there are still some good ones after that as well, but certain collabs, like the Persona collab to me wasn't really that exciting because I already had Glass Record, but that was valuable for the other equivalent skill of Glass Record, so I guess that was okay. But I would say this collab is definitely one of the higher rated ones. Now, just to finish off, I believe since this event lasts a week, there's a week left of this event, make sure to farm this as much as you can. There's going to be a DOH unit next week, I'm guessing. And then after that, there's probably going to be a 2-week break. And then Anniversary should be starting after those 2 weeks. So we've got about 3 weeks till Anniversary, I believe. I might be wrong, but that's what I think, because it's the right date in 3 weeks. And then that should be fun, because Anniversary usually brings a lot of content and maybe some exciting unit and maybe some story or something. And in a week, there's going to be the Guild vs Guild event. I'll probably mention that in the stream next week, so there is going to be a stream next week like normal, because it's going to be another unit showcase, and then after that, 2-week break for the next one. So yeah, I guess I'll see you then. I think that's it for me. I like this collab. That's really all I can say. I think it's very good. Roy, it's pretty fun. These 2 units, both pretty good and fun as well, but we have so many units at this point for DPS that how important is it to get one as DPS units? You decide, really. I would say Alchemy has more long-term value than Bradley's DPS, but I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, because the DPS difference between Bradley and Ed is quite high, I would think, because Bradley's skill 2 so fast, and his dual wield has a lot of damage cap. It just seems really good. So I think that's it. I really hope they start releasing more mage units or support units, because I want those units. I want more mage units because those are fun to me, and we've gotten so many physical DPS units for ages. I told myself that I would start pulling for less units because I want those more unique units that would benefit my account more than a generic DPS, but I'm still lying to myself, because I still pull for Bradley because he looks fun, he's quite strong, and a strong DPS, because I still want to try him out and everything. But Bradley isn't someone you need on your account. Someone that would be nice and could potentially be good in a time trial for Anniversary. Anniversary should have a time trial. But anyways, I've been talking for too long. I need to have a break. It's 4 PM at my time right now, so yeah, dinner at some point, but not gonna worry about that yet. So I'll see you next week on Thursday. I have no idea who the unit is. I personally think it's probably going to be a DOH unit again, and then in 2 weeks probably going to be another DOH unit that's on the Anniversary with a UR arc. Seems like that's what's going to happen, so I'll see you then. Make sure to do this collab. It's a very good collab for materials, and just have fun with it and get those tickets. Could get lucky from those. I've seen a few people who have, so I'll see you next Thursday. Bye.